don't it?
Yeah, they do. Because it wants to take off because you're out in the cup.
I get it.
I never know where it's going to.
It's because the front wheels don't want to sit flat. I can hold them steady though. Yeah, it does help cut the breeze.
Yep.
Well, you wanted to wear a dress.
Okay. But it's icy.
I could have pulled out right here and let you get out and sit there and wait for me while I went and parked it if you preferred.
Sorry.
I have no idea which vehicle he drove today. But if he wasn't here today, it would be the first time I haven't seen him here in a couple of years. So I'd be surprised if he's not in here. Oh, we heard him. He's all right. We've talked to him. Of course, you could ride. I can
almost certainly pull the car right up here, though. Yes.
I love you.
I love you too, dear.
I wouldn't do this for anybody else.
I know.
Should I lay all my names on them?
However many you feel like sharing, dear. As many stories as you feel like telling. Many stories as you feel like telling. Here's Jane.
Hey Joey, hey Scott.
Hey Jane, how are you? Sorry, it took us a minute.
Move now, I guess.
We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Can you make it?
Yeah, just push on in.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Howdy.
my darling. How are you?
I'm
Where's
great.
that beautiful bride of yours?
She might be here in a little bit. She's working, and I'm gonna order her something.
Hey, everything good? What's up?
I'm just seeing her.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, I know. She's busy now.
Hello, Samantha. I'm Scott. My wife Joy.
Thank
You know Julie.
Samantha the dancer.
I'm here.
Doing well.
Robert came last night. I'm here.
Yep.
Got a good crowd too.
Good.
Did you find a place to park?
Yeah, we've had to. Yeah, right there.
Hey Sam,
Almost in the next parking lot.
did you see Mama Lou?
She's on her way.
See if you can get a seat where you can get her fit in.
So we're gonna take the coat off here or what? You want to stop for a second and do that? I can come on around if you need one. Creating a traffic jam. That's why I asked if you wanted to take it off so you can move better.
Where you want to go? This
Straight
way?
ahead.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead, then you figure out where you want to sit.
Where do you want to sit?
wherever you could sit at a table comfortably, either in that chair or get in and out, whichever.
Better I'm sitting in this chair.
Oh, then let's see if we can find a table that will work with that chair. They all seem a little bit high up. That's all I ever do with the camera. Set it up right here, out of the way.
Said that this usually works right well if you look at
Give me just a minute. Just a minute.
A lower table.
Where do y'all want to try to sit?
I don't know. George just did something. You can bring you one you can sit in your wheelchair at, because all the rest of the tables are too tall.
I can bring the mic to you, two guys.
Either way. Yeah, because we're not sitting up there. Normally everybody's up there. That's gonna make this backwards then.
Are you looking good too? Boy, I don't know. Just holler at him, holler for Ben. How many parents might do that?
This is what we usually do. No, I usually grab these other ones, but I'm not sure. Yeah, this will be the easiest.
I got my own chair.
That's my mom. We don't ever have to worry about her sitting down. We've got her chair.
And then while we're videoing, you gotta get your face out.
Oh, no. Wait, you won't.
How do you want to try to set this up, George?
This way.
It's kind of big. Well, just look at the table and see if you can help figure out how you maybe want to turn so you can get your chair up against it. So we can be facing into the audience and not away from it.
When we do it this way, that might be this way. Like this. That work?
Put it over here.
Yeah.
Put it over this way.
That work?
Almost right over here, probably. So that you can turn your chair facing in. Right now she'd still be facing away.
Well, I thought she might be sitting over there.
In a wheelchair.
Okay, you tell me, you move and I'll move with
Just
you.
this way.
That work?
That should be.
She got to yet?
Very good. You gonna be able to talk from here.
Will that be okay? Yeah, if you get a microphone, we'll just roll that a little bit.
So you get your microphone, but you can't.
You'll be able to pick it up. You'll be able to, if we talk up here, this will really pick
I'm
it
bringing
up.
the microphone.
Okay.
Junior's gonna be going around with him.
Or we can talk loud, either way. Join that on that small
I gotta be around.
long.
Train.
Big enough. You think you were raised by Dolly Parton? You're really nothing like being in the air to Dolly.
Daddy was driving, so I didn't get one.
What are you doing over here?
I'm just sitting here holding this chair.
Get up, let me. You get up, let me. Hey, that's a good idea. Hey, I need you at Walmart.
No, I don't know about that. I work there one time.
I think everybody works there.
That's my husband.
Well, that's what I asked, but he thought I wanted to take his picture.
I got one that's good.
Are you doing okay? I think about it. Every time my grandson answers the phone, he says,
Thank you a lot. You had to have more chemo.
Ring the bell.
Well, You're in our prayers, I know you know that. Yep, absolutely.
Yes, that's a Logan in there.
Logan?
And apparently some into the dance.
Logan. Logan.
How you doing? I'm good. It's good to see you.
Growing on.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to keep going. Can't stop.
What's your these days?
Nothing much, you know. I was working at UPS in Texaco.
Oh, yeah?
And all that stuff went down my grandma.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I just kind of like dropped all that, stayed at home, and taking her back and forth.
That's good.
Yeah. So, but I have an interview at the airport next Thursday.
Well, excellent.
At ABM, like baggage claim.
Sure. That's good money and all the hours you want, pretty much.
So
That'd be a good place to get on.
yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do, get on over there.
Especially when they're just about to, like an airport community or something. In the airport of Sydney, they're going to build down there. They're going to go crazy. So yeah, if you get in right ahead of that, you can just, this will be a good time. Because it's going to get so much business.
Where's he working?
Oh, AAA Cooper. He's in a forklift, actually. He could drive a truck, but he's just forklift in the warehouse. Because he worked at an airport handling nuggets too, so the same kind of thing.
I've heard really good things about the AAA Cooper and
Extraordinary benefits, yeah. Good company. The airport's not bad to get on with it.
I don't really know what I want to do, like, I think I want to do something in art. You know, maybe I was thinking about going to do some graphic design. But I kind of like more of like the hands-on.
Yeah, if you want to experience things that'll open up your artistic sensibilities, just sign up and work for a year on a cruise ship. I'm not even kidding. You do that because the crew has their own places to go when they stop in port, and you see a whole other side of it. I went and hung the one cruise I took. I went and hung the friends that I'd made in the crew. We're like, where do we go? We all go to Peggy Sue's. Peggy Sue's, where's and we got that. That's crazy. All night long, partying with the crew. But seriously, the cruise ship, think about it. It's like Peace Corps. You should get fantastic tips. You get to meet people, just all kinds of people. You're not going to meet a whole lot of poor people.
Like where they experience.
Depends on exactly what the job is. I mean, some of the jobs are steward. There's plenty of jobs. Plenty of jobs with people wearing tuxes and walking around and carrying this and that. And there's plenty of jobs underneath where you just load luggage and bring on food and unload whatever individual. So seriously, it's one of those things that I wish someone had told me when I was young. I was just getting out of school. I was like, what do you want to do? I'm not really in a rush. Do this for me.
Just to get out here.
Absolutely. You can, and you never know where you're going to go in the world. Your comfort zone. But yet it not be a military thing, because that's too much commitment. Cruise ship, you can always, if it's ever, do. I've had, nothing else, you can leave it in the port, but obviously
once you're on the boat, you're locked in, you can't get off.
You've got independent means anyway, so I mean, it's the same. It's not going to be, our Captain Bly says they're all hands on deck. There's never any of that. It's all just it's like a floating theme park, like working at Disney.
Awesome. Definitely something.
It's something to think about. Like I say, as far as art goes, you run into all kinds of artistic types on cruises.
Especially people trying to travel and different viewscapes. There's people traveling all over trying to take pictures of different places.
Right. Yeah. So go and see some of them. You go see them and you get paid to go see them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you don't make a lot of money to do so.
I don't know. I guess I'd be more camera shy, but I guess once I got over it, acting just wasn't my strong suit.
one of those things. You have to memorize lines. This sounds like work to me too.
I sweat when I talk live.
That could be your gig. You could have the camera on you and you could be talking and saying something and have this thing you got to read and then the camera zooms in and they see your little sweat going
Yeah, I
down.
know. That's what
And you keep on talking and more and more. And it's like it's someone coming in.
Yeah.
Bring in the airbrush. Performance art, that'd be fun. Please remake it. Cloud of dust.
Thank you. I have to stop by and see y'all sometime.
Anytime. Us and the raccoons and the possums.
Yeah, definitely. The raccoons.
Oh, raccoons and possums all the time.
That's awesome.
And long nights.
I like watching the raccoon videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah, they get into anything. You can train those guys apparently without much.
It's good to see you.
Anyway, pleasure, man. Thank you. That's why Gene's holding that peanut. Everybody made the effort today. It's like you picked a good day to get here, though.
Yeah, and I met somebody.
Good to see you. I'm running as always. Well, come on.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Hello. I'm Gene Norton, if you don't know me. This is our 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s Hapeville High School reunion get-together. And we have a lot of people that see you all, some that we have not been here before. I want to thank Larry and Donna and the staff for fixing the tables up. And there's some specials on the table if you'll notice. Scott Whitaker is going to be filming, and it's a video and you can pull it up on your computer later on. Stanley Smith, where's Stanley? Is that Stanley? Yeah, I couldn't see for the glow. Stanley's going to be making pictures all over the place. But I have to tell you something. One of our speakers, Charles Miller, called me Monday and said that his wife's aunt had died down in Jonesboro, and they were having to go to the funeral today at 12, so he could not make it, but he'll be at our next meeting. Our next meeting will be May 8th. May 8th. And I have a little story I'd like to tell you guys, if you have a second to listen. Last month, I was down at the Beau Rivage and playing a slot machine. And there was a gentleman sitting over to my right playing a machine, and I sat down and he says, I'm from Texas, and I come here pretty often, and this machine usually pays off good, but I haven't won anything. A few minutes later he said, where are you from? I said, we're from Atlanta. He said, I used to live in Atlanta. I was there for about 13 years. No, I was in Hapeville. And his name was Thunderbird. Betty Jean Thunderbird, when she was in our class, that was his cousin. But he was 87, had a birthday the next day. He had retired from the Army. And Bobby, I want to see if you and Digger went to College Street School. He went all through College Street School. His last name was, they called him Bird. No, Thunderbird. Funderburg. But he said his mother and father died when he was 4 years old. And they were living in Augusta. But they brought him and put him in the Georgia Baptist Children's Home. And he grew up in the Baptist Church, went to College Street School, used to go down and work on the farm, which is where the post office is now. And they raised their own vegetables and everything. But he was real nice to talk to. And he said, I remember one of the Chapman boys that had the drugstore. And he talked about the Fulton Theater and the Hangar Theater, and just kept going on and on. But I thought that was interesting. But do you remember Bobby? His first grade teacher was Miss Hughes also. His first grade teacher was Miss Hughes. He started there in 36, I think.
Let me see your teeth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get started, folks. Julian Glant, where is Julian? Right here. Julian is going to walk around. Anybody that's a newcomer, see Julian and tell us who you are and what class you might have been in.
Yeah, that's better.
Real good.
He did run it out.
Bobby Norton graduated in 1946. I'm Mary Patrick and I graduated in 49.
I'm Barbara Terrell McDonald, and I'm married to Connie McDonald, and I finished Forest Park High School in 48.
I'm Tom McDonald, and I finished high school here in Hapeville in 1942. Jess Lucas, HHS class of 55.
Gordon Hamby, 1966.
Willie Bailey, I was born in 1944, but I graduated in 1962. Perspective.
Carol Cobb, Headland High School, class of 66.
Don Cobb, I graduated from College Park in 68.
I'm Charlotte Dunlap Prince, class of 1958.
Larry Huckbag, 58. Tommy Smith, 1960.
Gloria Holder, class of 1943.
Ben Weinberg, class of 1943, and this is my son here. Good night.
Henry Note, class of 47. And I'm the last for the Moat Boy.
Harmony Gaston, if you remember, it just got out the other day. Anyway, Neil Newman told me. Wrap it up. Neil Newman told me one day, she said, come on. Then she says, I think you wait for you. And watching the magazines or either just the races. So I decided, well, I'll just go to the Navy. All right. Anyway, I had a good time. Laura is with me, and she's the star. Sherry.
Diane Williamson, class of 64.
Murphy Cook, class of 42.
Ridley Norris, class of 1958.
Carol Rivers, class of 1958.
Wayne Gate, class of 1958. Pete Mobley, class of 1958.
Glenn Summers, class of 1967.
Steve Darrow, actually class of 65 and 66. I was enjoying high school so much I had often considered becoming a professional high school student, and so I stuck around an extra year.
Linda Bramlett should have been a class of 68, but a 71 class of this time.
Hey, I'll be right there.
Carol Stevens, class of 65. Kim Kirkland Kinsey, class of 73. Nancy Kinsey, Nancy Eads Kinsey, class of 63.
Patsy Holder Stockings, class of 1967.
Annette Blaze, class of 1959.
Nancy Hall, no, Tommy Hall's groupie. I didn't graduate from Hapeville.
Tommy Hall, class of 49. I'm glad to be here because there are several people older than I am, and they're doing well, so that's requiring me to go home.
You want a food menu? No. Okay, 2 of those to go.
George Whitaker, I don't know what class it was. I don't have a lot of class, most people know that. But I graduated from homeschool, so I couldn't tell you what year it was. And I've been here in Hapeville for a long time.
I know what you mean.
Scott Whitaker, class of 77.
I spoke to him.
How do you want your steak cooked?
Lou Norton, class of 55.
Medium well?
Low movie, class of 2016.
So I spoke to him.
Samantha Hightower, class of 2016.
Okay. You know, who I was.
What kind of salad dressing?
Heather Glantz, class of 1987.
Yours was medium well too?
Julian Lance, class of 86.
You said to go?
There being class of 56.
I'll just give it to y'all here and bring y'all to go box.
Bobby Gillen, class of 53.
Oh, okay. Now what are y'all drinking?
Don Cobb.
Sweet tea for you? Shelley?
Okay, I got a couple of announcements here for Betty Barnett. She usually does this, but she's rehabbing. First of all, everybody knows about the name tag. You got one. If you want everybody to know who you are, if you don't have one, go by and take one out. We're also sending out a new roster for everybody to put their name and phone numbers on. And we need to have that information to make sure everybody gets the notice of the meeting. And I'm also sending around a jug, and that's for postage. We're running short on postage. It takes about $80 a month to send out the mailings, and we're only collecting about 60. So if you would, please add to that, because Gene doesn't have to come out of his pocket for it. Hope everybody has a great day. Thank you. Yes, Lucas.
Always hate to have people who have passed away since our last meeting. And the only one I have, if anyone has anyone else, let us know. But class of 1955, Bobby Wofford passed away. Yes. And Bobby is married to Peggy Taylor, Wofford class of 55 also. But anyway, let Gene know if you know of anyone that passed away that I happen to miss. Thank you.
Glory.
Hello. May we pray? May we have the blessing, please? May we have the blessing, please? Dear God, our loving Father, on this morning of reunion, we praise you and thank you for giving us life on our magnificent planet. Please bless all of your people on this earth. May we live together in peace and love. And may each one here today be in your loving care. We ask you to bless the food we are enjoying and the hands that prepare it, as we do our best to serve you. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ and Savior. Amen.
Good Lord. Joy and Scott are up next.
All right, then, since my story's a little bit shorter, I'll go first. I came to Hapeville in 1969 when Robert and Annelle brought me home from the hospital, adopted me. Everybody knows Bob Whitaker, I think. He and Annelle were fixtures here, I know, for a long time, but in '69 we moved out to Stone Mountain, which is why I graduated with Tucker Tiger instead of a Hapeville Hornet. Is that loud enough?
A bit loud.
A little bit, okay, a little bit louder. A little bit louder. Okay, but the first 10 years of my life were spent pretty much in the creek between Woodland Drive and North Avenue, the one that ran down underneath Forest Hills. Because Bob Martin, C.C. Martin's boy, was my age. Two of us went to school, grew up together, went to Cub Scouts, and spent a lot of time back there hunting crawdads. And only by the grace of, I'm not sure, I never got bit by anything. But it was, I was saddened to hear later about Bob having a car accident and departing much too early. But I remembered the last time that I saw Bob, I was thinking back on it, and when we moved in 1969, at the time the Martins had chickens. Why not? He was mayor, he could have chickens, so it's coming back. There's more chickens in Hapeville now, but at the time it was kind of a novelty, and when we were leaving in winter of '69 or early '70, Bob gave me a going away present, which was a pet rooster. So we took the pet rooster with us out to a nice little suburb out in Stone Mountain called Smoke Rise. And Bob didn't give me a cage or a box or anything to take the rooster in, so I was pretty much carrying it. When we got there, opened the door, the thing flew out right up into a tree immediately, where it sat for the next 30 days, waking up the neighborhood. Things finally came to a head when at dawn one morning our neighbor knocked on our door and my dad answered it, and he was holding a shotgun and offered to fix our chicken problem for us. So shortly after that I managed to trap him on some ice with some birdseed, and I tricked him into running into the garage and was able to catch him and bring him back and return him to Bob, and that was the last time I saw him. But anyway, Hapeville was, and I hope it will be again, a good place to be a free-range child, a good place to grow up and be able to live in the creeks and be able to not worry and be able just to run around and just be a child and see your parents at dinner time. As long as you're there on time and cleaned up, we were good. No questions asked. As long as we didn't make the headlines or get brought home by the chief of police. I never did that, but I was on a first name basis with the principal at Joe Wells for the whole, anyway, first about 5 years I went there. But I'm going to turn it over to Joyce. She's got another heck of a story or two, but I just wanted to share that a little bit.
Thank you, darling. I did not grow up in Hapeville. I moved to Hapeville in about 1964 when my children were coming along, and I'm glad I did because it was a great place to live. My husband found this house, the house on Maple Street next to a creek, and he said, we're going to move over there. So, you know, we went back there, and the husband said, you're going to move? You did. So I packed up and off we went with all the children. And we got down there, and wonderful little place to raise children. You couldn't lose them, because my son tried one time, my baby boy, when he was in like first grade. His brothers were at the high school, but he was at over here at North Avenue. Well, he's told the teacher one day, he said, I got to go potty. And so he went to the bathroom and out the door and over to the high school to visit with his brothers. And the principal called me and said, Miss Wheeler, it was Wheeler then, said, Miss Wheeler, have you seen John? And I said, not since I brought him to school this morning. And she said, well, he seems to have vanished. So as April does, everybody in town pulled together. Everybody's riding around your cars. John, 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 where are you? And so finally, found him over on the football field at the high school. He had walked from North Avenue over there, perfectly safe, no problem, and except when he had to look at me, and that was the problem. But it's just a great little city to raise children in. I've got 5, and they all have managed to get along okay. My oldest daughter graduated from Hapeville High School and had a wonderful education there. She had Miss Paramore, of course, and several other good teachers. And Miss Paramore managed to get her in Duke University with a full scholarship, which, I mean, we couldn't afford a scholarship, we couldn't afford college, but she got in there and graduated with honors from Duke University, and it made a great life for herself. And she married Rob Bradley, who was a jock from the Hapeville High School. Some of y'all may know Rob. He's in our age range, and they live in Florida now. But it's been an interesting life. I've worked several places around here. I worked at the Gyro, but it wasn't then, it was a hamburger joint, and the chief used to come in, and he said, I want you to flip me an egg. He wanted his egg a certain way. I didn't know how to flip an egg. I could cook it in a skillet, but I didn't know how to flip it. So he stood there with me one night, because I worked the night shift. He stayed there one night for hours until I got his eggs cooked right. He paid for all of them, but I got his egg where I could flip it. And I felt like that was a big accomplishment. And I worked at the bowling alley. When it was, if anybody remembers the bowling alley, I worked down there for a long time. I was short on the food and thing there, and we had a good time. My kids, they had a nursery down there, and a lady would come in and take care of all the bowlers' kids. And mine would go down there, so I had free babysitter. And that was a good thing. And I quit working down there, though, the day the nursery exploded. My children were in the nursery. They told us that because I have twins, they said you need to get them in with other children so that they will learn to communicate properly. And so we put them in the nursery there on Central Avenue. And they came and got me from work one day and said, there's been a problem. And they were sure right. The nursery was flat as a pancake. And but everybody helped out, and they got my daughter and my sons out, and took my daughter to Grady. That was the best thing. Grady was wonderful to her and to us. It was a great experience. You can take lemons and make lemonade. That was how that turned out. They were really good, and they still are to her. She still can go down there. Let me see, what else? Oh, I worked for Larry Thacker. Does anybody know Larry Thacker? From the antique shop on Central Avenue. I think a lot of you knew him. You might not know by name, but you knew him. And I worked up there. I walked down the street, going for a walk one day, and the girl that was working there was fixing to quit. I didn't have a job. And so I went in there, and he said, well, why don't you come in here and see if you want to work for me? And I did for about 8-10 more years until he left. And then Larry died. And I still miss him. He was the best teacher I ever had. That man knew more about antiques than anything. So is that a bell to tell me to shut up?
No.
I think they got your bell.
They send someone out with a hook. No, you're good. You can.
But we had, he was a really good teacher. Anybody that ever shopped with him knows that. And he could get anything you wanted, and he knew what it was. He knew, he had all the information. He traveled, little bitty short thing, traveled all over Europe, traveled all over the world, really, and getting stuff. And all the ladies thought he was single. He wasn't. He had a wife in Florida, wonderful woman, little bitty thing, but she kept him in line. So that was Mary Thacker. I can't think what else. I made out a list last night what I was going to talk about. I worked at South Fulton Medical Center and for 10 years. And I enjoyed every bit of that. I worked with Evelyn Evans in medical records, and she was a jewel. And we had, I don't know if, I grew up in Sylvan Hills. My daddy built a railroad track. He worked at Southern Railroad, and he built this in our basement. If you'd like to come out and look at the pictures in this book. It's a live steam locomotive, and it would run, and I was the only kid in town that had railroad tracks in their yard. And we'd ride it back and forth, back and forth. But it was a wonderful thing to have in your yard, and it was definitely different. I also helped get the charter school started, and I still kind of keep track of what's going on. I keep articles out of the newspaper about our little city. So if there's something, if you know of something that's happening, let me know so I can put it in our book. I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe and Scott. Diane, where is Diane? Your turn, Diane. Right there.
No one signed up for an hour.
Diane, come on up if you want to.
Y'all let me know if you can hear me okay. Am I speaking loud enough? You might not want to hear me. Okay, I'll just start off with my mom and dad first, because my dad moved to Hapeville, I think when he was around 4 or 5 years old. His dad had passed away, I believe, when he was about 3 from an influenza outbreak. And they lived in the Jonesboro area, and he and his mom and 2 brothers, Ennis and James, moved to Hapeville. And I think they may have lived on the College Street side, but my dad's Aunt Berna, Annie Hines, were living here, and I think they helped them out at the time. When Mom and Dad, well, my mother moved here when she was in grammar school from Capitol Avenue in Atlanta, and she moved on to Stewart Avenue into a 2-story house that was across from where the Mitchell Funeral Home was located, and Welch's Lodge, I think, was next door to their house. And that's where my grandmother lived until I went into the 8th grade, and then she moved to North Avenue. But when my mom and dad got married, they lived on Virginia Avenue to begin with. My brother Nick was born there in 42. And then they moved to Virginia Place, which I think was a little street that connected Virginia Avenue and South Whitney. And I was born there, but we lived there a short time, and then we moved to Spring Haven while I was still a baby, and we lived next door to the Ratteries. Elizabeth and Harold Rattery. They had daughters Ann and Beth. Beth was my age. Beth was just a couple of weeks older than me. So Beth and I grew up together, and poor Ann had to put up with us because I stayed over there all the time. If Beth and I got into an argument, I'd make up before dinner time because her mom was a great cook, and I would go over there and eat with them all the time, and I'd spend the night, and Ann would have a flashlight next to her bed, and when we got too loud, she'd turn that flashlight on. But anyway, we lived on Spring Haven until it was the summer before I went into the 3rd grade, but we had a lot of relatives, and when I think about Spring Haven, I thought it was such a long street, and there were a lot of people who lived on that street, but some of them, and I know you'll recognize a lot of the names, we had the Nances, the Coywin lived over there, the Stearmans, the McElroys, Top Ellington and his family, the Buchanans. Ann told me that someone named Rifer's sisters lived down on the end, and I did not know them. And the Marcuses and Womacs, and I'm sure I left a lot out. And on Stillwood, the Bobines lived there, and I just remember when growing up that they had a chute-to-chute, which I never got on, but the boys did. And there was a creek that ran through there that ran behind the houses on the opposite side of the street, and I remember us playing in that creek all the time. I can remember having a summer day with thunderstorms, and it would rain, and we'd get out afterwards and ride our bicycles through the puddles, and of course we'd play hopscotch and Simon Says, you know, all those games that I guess all of y'all remember playing. But it was a wonderful time to live there. And then my mom and my sister Jan was born when we lived on Spring Haven in 1952. And so it was the summer of 54 that we moved over to Springdale. And we lived in a house that, it was J.A. Kidd, who had an electric company. He and his wife built 3 homes along there. The first home they built, the Kimballs lived in when we moved in. We lived in the next house, and the kids built another house and lived on the other side of us. Annette Wade can remember more so the people who lived on her end of Springdale, which was close to North Avenue. I have just kind of forgotten the names of the people that lived there, but Beverly and